later can introduce themselves as well. The goal is we should wrap up by 11, and hopefully we'll build a great relationship together. Okay? So let me start by us looking at if they have like sweets, or they can bring more sweets. Okay, so I want to first of all talk about, I'll start with personal finance, right? And I've seen that a lot of us here are entrepreneurs, so we run our businesses as well. So in your personal finance, we have employees, right? We have self-employed. We have business owners. We have what? Investors, right? This is like the four major ways that you make money. Okay? And I like to teach this a lot because I think that in Africa we haven't really mastered this concept very well. Now, as an employee, the data has shown that you can never be financially free by just being an employee. True of us, right? So you have to look for something else to do to guarantee your financial freedom. Now, it's not necessary that you need to leave your job, but it still means that you need to look for something tangible. You could start with having a job, that's okay, but you have to think of something more. Then you can be a self-employed, right? And this we call one-man business. And when we say you're self-employed, we're basically saying without you, the business cannot prosper, right? Once you're not there, the business begins to have some crises, some challenges, and some major issues. Does that make sense? But to be a self-employed, you also look at how this is also how all great businesses start. So there's nothing wrong if you're currently a self-employed. Nothing is wrong with that. Just that you need to learn how to move from being self-employed to being what? Very much structured business, which we call business owner. Now, what's the difference between self-employed and a business owner? Can anybody guess? What is the real thing that makes there's a difference? Self-employed and a business owner. Yes.
Yes, I think when it comes to business, it's something that is now running when you are not available.
When you're not available.
Yes,
beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to say the same, that a business can actually run on its own when you're absent.
Even when you're absent. But we all talk about this, but mentally we do not believe in it as Africans. So for example, when a business starts like this, let's say I start a business and people know Stephen Akintayo started, let's say, an hotel business, right? And one day you came into the hotel, and then the hotel grew to a point is now a franchise. Let's say it's Grand Hyatt, something like this. And then you enter the hotel, and the hotel you have some crisis, but everybody knew I founded the hotel. And then there's a major challenge. Some people don't even mind calling and say, can you imagine Stephen Akintayo's hotel? He's running into trouble and he's messing me up, and then can start attacking Stephen Akintayo rather than focus on the hotel has a name that is not Stephen Akintayo, right? Rather than figure out how I'm going to deal with my issues with my hotel, I'm just going to be calling the founder's name, even when the system now is not a well-structured system. Now I'm talking about this because this is the reason why African businesses remain small. There are just very few people who have overcome moving from here to here. Maybe your Dangote, Stripe, right? I heard this from here, right?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe so a few people like that will have moved from just being self-employed to what business owners and have endured the attack that kept coming even after it's a much structured business, but people still want to attach everything that goes on in the business with them. Does this make sense at all? But many of other entrepreneurs, as soon as you're trying to structure your business, what do you notice? And I've had this challenge for many, many years as well. As soon as I'm trying to pull out of my business, any issue people have with the companies I own, they start dragging my name into it. Right? Almost as if to say, you better get back into the business and run it by yourself and figure it out. But the real truth is that once a business is trying to cross from being self-employed to a business owner, it's like a baby that is trying to learn how to walk. What happened to that baby? As he tries to stand, he falls. He tries to stand, he falls. He tries to stand, he what? He falls. So what are you supposed to do? Sometimes as mothers, and thank God there are mothers here, what do? You take your eye away, isn't it? Almost as if you didn't see the baby. And then the baby will cry, right? As in, yeah, right? Really crying about how he or she felt, like, I'm alone, right? I just fell on the ground and nothing was done for me. Does this make some sense? Yes. So you must understand that in the course of moving your business from self-employed to now being a structured business, you are going to have some crisis. And it's just normal, it's natural, it's one of those things. Now, why many of us never get the business here at the end of the day is that when that business is having little crisis, what do we start doing? We'll rush back to save the business. Okay? And what ultimately happens is that the business remains small almost for life. And we don't end up building great businesses. Does this make some sense? Okay? So I want to encourage some of you who are at the point of exiting your business and making it well structured where it can run without you. Don't rush to come save the business each time it runs into issue. You can use third parties, you can throw in consultants, you can set up a board, you can change the board, you can review the management, but don't keep going back to saving your business. I know it's tempting, but you have to keep running away from that. Now the fourth one is investment, isn't it? Okay? And this I like the most because from day one, this too, by the way, is the only way you can be financially free. A business that runs without you, right? It doesn't matter whether you founded it or not, but it's a business that the only thing that bothers you is your profit at the end of the day, right? I recently exited our business, run it for 18 years. Now we have a new chairman, and I'm starting a new business, which is a private equity and venture capital firm. One of the toughest things for me anyway, because as I was about exiting, there are always going to be problems as usual, right? But this time around I said, I don't care, right? I'm out. Because what I also noticed is that you will never be financially free in your own business until you're out. You will never. Because it's when you are out, we can share dividend. We can share profit. True of us. When you're still in the business, even when it makes profit, what do we all do? Put it back. Then you keep putting it back. Then you keep putting it back. Right? And so people see you have this so-called big business, but even you don't even have freedom. That's why some of the successful entrepreneurs that I've seen, like even Ken Sharp here, have had to sell 2, 3, 4 businesses before the current one they are running. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. And when you interview people like them, you realize that the current one they're running is just still like a baby. Keep gulping money. Keep gulping money. So the only reason they are financially free is those other ones they've sold. Is those other ones that keeps bringing residual income. into this current one they are still pushing like a baby. Are we learning at all? So if there's one principle I want you to write down today, is stop being emotional about what? Entrepreneurship. Stop being what? Emotional about what? Entrepreneurship. Because one of the major issues we all have when it comes to entrepreneurship is that we get a bit emotional. I have to save the business. I have to save the business. And trust me, as long as a business exists, it's either you're entering into a crisis or you're coming out of a crisis. That's how business works. So the number 4 one, which is what I advise every entrepreneur to keep doing even while you are either here or you're trying to get here, is called investment. And even if you're an employee, you must be thinking of this. And that's why even for me, I finally say, you know what, I'm done with running businesses. I'm starting a private equity and venture capital. I'm going to be putting my money into other businesses. Let the founder go through the headache and every year give me something. Okay? Because the true financial freedom is in passive income. So there are 2 ways you make money. We call it AI and PI. Who can guess what is AI? Not the AI technology. But what's AI here? Anyone? Just guess. No right or wrong answers. I love interactive class. Yes.
I think PI is a private investor.
Private investor. You tried. What's AI? AI stands for active income. These are the 2 major ways we make money. And PI stands for passive income. Okay? So can we have an example of active income? Just give me an example. How many examples of active income? Anybody? Example of an active income. Again, no right or wrong answers in my class. Active income, example. Come on, your job. Right? Your job is an active income. Basically, what an active income means is an income that requires your physical involvement for the money to come in. It's called active income, right? Once it requires your active involvement, you have to be involved. So can anybody give me an example? So your job is one, which other one? Active income. Huh? Nobody else. No right or wrong answers.
Salary, maybe the salary that you get from the job.
That's still on the job. Of course, when we say job, we mean salary. In fact, that's the best one. There's even salary that is the best one. So salary. So salary. What else?
If you're self-employed.
Thank you. Self-employment as well. Right? Is still active income. Remember, in the case of self-employment, when you're not there, no, the business really struggles. Most likely does. Pastoring. Yes. Politician. Yes. Politics is active income, yeah?
Commissions.
Huh?
Commission and tip.
Yeah, commission, when you sell, because if you don't sell, SFTV is multi-level, and even that goes down if you're not involved. Tips, public speaking, what I'm doing as well, right? I charge $20,000 to speak at events, but I have to be physically there, right? So if I'm not there, I can't make money. So we can go on and on, but this is an example of active income. But hear this, and that's just similar to this too. These two are active income. You can never be financially free with active income. Never. Because what happened is called law of diminishing returns. Law of what? Diminishing return. So what the law simply says is that, the older you get, right, the lesser your ability to make what? Active income. True or false? Okay? So if all your sources of income are only active income, what then happens as you age? You get poorer. You see how the universe can be so unfair? You get poorer and poorer and poorer. And the rule is because you are only surviving on your active income. Now, are we saying you should not have an active income? No. We're saying that you move your money from active income, whatever it is, every one of us must have an active income. But whatever you're getting from active income, what we're saying is that move it from there and what? And put it into what? Passive income. So what that does is that, and that's the beauty of passive income, it's reverse. Passive income is a reverse of active income. Because in the case of passive income, it's actually no longer the law of diminishing return. The older the investment, the more the returns. But particularly if you keep, we call it compound interest, right? So if you leverage on compound interest, meaning you keep putting your interest back into whatever it is that is generating that returns, right? It keeps compounding for you, and the older you get, the richer you get. I hope this makes sense.
Yes.
Now, passive income is what keeps bringing money for you, even when you don't do anything. The only thing you do is the initial investment. And once you do that initial investment, it continues to generate income for you. That's called passive income. Now, what is the problem of passive income? Can anybody tell us? Why is it that most of us don't do passive income? There are a few reasons. Anyone?
Maybe one of the reasons could be the initial investment required could be too high.
So the capital is an issue. What else? Yeah.
I think it also depends on trends. For example, if you are into stocks or a REIT, then the market has dropped. Yeah, so market trends.
Risk.
Risk.
Yeah. What else?
I think it also needs some time to build.
It takes.
Takes time.
Yes. Long term. Right. So we want it quick. This one, 30 days, I get salary. Right. 1 week I sell, I get commission. Right. It kind of brings the money faster. In investment, a year, 5 years, 10 years, why wait that long? I want to see my money now. What else? Why are we not doing passive income? What else is the reason why we don't go into passive income? Yes.
Maybe it needs investment in a lot of assets.
Investment, a lot of assets. No. I mean, if you're already investing, you're investing. Right? You're already investing. So what you're talking about, the need for diversification, right? So that you have different assets that you invested, right? But we're looking at why don't we even like doing it in the first place, right? One is the capital is high. 2 is risk. We don't want to lose our money. 3 is that sometimes it takes long for us to get returns, and we rather prefer something within 9 years. Yes.
Maybe liquidity is not easy to dispose of.
Okay. Particularly in real estate.
Yes.
Right. Okay. The fact that liquidation is non-instant, but there are other ones that can be easily liquidated. But that's true. That's sometimes a concern.
I'm thinking of a geopolitical tension in Ethiopia.
Yeah, that's still on the risk, right? And what I always say on the risk is that it is risky not taking a risk. Right? I have met a lot of people who always discourage other people and say, don't do that investment, you're going to lose your money. That company is a scam. And you know what I always ask them? You that you have been so intelligent not to take risk, how rich are you? Have you ever had some of those people who discourage you? Like, okay, so you, all your life, you've been so smart, you've been so intelligent, you've never lost money before. Are you richer? How wealthy are you? So I came up, one of my quotes says that it takes being intelligent to be poor. Poor people are some of the most intelligent people. And I kid you not. How many of you have met rich people and just realized that there's nothing really special about them? Have you noticed? Like, you just feel like, he's not like this. These guys are, you know. But you know what's special about them? They are bloody risk takers. They will take risk. I'm like, right? And then what are the rest of us doing?
Watching.
We're watching. We're like, okay, am I sure? Am I, you know, we need to be careful. The geopolitical issue, the this. I'm going to give all manner of reasons why we should not take that investment. I used to think I'm crazy because I'm a risk taker. Even my wife believed that this guy, I can go negotiate a deal of $2 billion and I don't even have $10 million in my pocket. And I believe I can raise it. And in many cases, I've been able to raise those money. Right? But you know, it's always like, who does this? You just like taking risk. And trust me, I've also had my hands burnt. I've lost a lot of money in many deals as well. But I told Ken Sharp yesterday, I said I found my twin brother, right? I feel normal with the guy. For the first time in my life, I've seen somebody that I feel normal with. Because when I see the risk he's taking, I don't know that you understand what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, I think I'm normal. Okay, I think I'm very, very normal. Right, Mall of Zimbabwe, he's working with his partner, myself, Minister of Finance, and himself. Went to Pretoria, met some retailers who were trying to convince to come, you know, have some stores in Mall of Zimbabwe, and that's $100 million deal, and just believing and putting his neck into such a deal. And each time he's talking, he's just talking about Zimbabwe and the greater Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is rising, you know. I'm like, wow. I think I need to have some faith in Nigeria. You know, I honestly, I'm going back to Nigeria, and I promise you, my patriotism is rising. Okay, because he just so believes in the country as though there's no politics, like there's no risk whatsoever.
Yeah.
So all this investment that's going on, as though no government can come and take it from him. Like, but just taking the risk. So my encouragement is this: anytime you see somebody discouraging you from taking risk, can you just ask them, you that you have not taken risk, are you richer? Just ask them that honest question. Like, to be honest, I thank you for telling me not to take the risk, but are you richer all this while that you refuse to take risk? I think you should ask them. Because there's a word called analysis that leads to what? Paralysis, AP. And when you meet a lot of poor people and you're asking them, why haven't you invested? Why haven't you done stuff? What will they tell you? What if I lose money? What if it doesn't work? Now, those of us who have made money, we've lost money. I say this to people. I said, we are millionaires because we've lost millions. We are billionaires because we've lost billions. Right? You are a thousandaire because you've lost thousands. Right? And I know those people are not in this room. You are a zeronaire because you've lost nothing.
Zero.
Right?
Yeah.
So, go meet any wealthy person in the world. I kid you not. Their wealth is almost directly proportional to their willingness to take risk. You do your research anywhere in the world, and I'm being honest with you, that's what you're going to see. So, come into investment with the mindset that I'll lose some, I will win some. I can de-risk or reduce my risk, but I cannot totally eliminate risk. One of the ways I can de-risk is doing my research about the individuals I'm investing with, doing some research, but there's no guarantee. There's just no guarantee. But you must still know that it is risky not to what? Not to take risk. Does that make sense? Are we sure? Okay. So, the question now is the ratio. How do you rationalize your active income? How much of your active income should go into passive income? Because one of my books is called The Billionaire Habits. You can go to Amazon and get it. Billionaire Habits, right? BH. It's on Amazon. It's one of my most sold books. By the way, I've written over 40 books. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a serial entrepreneur. Started my business with just $10 18 years ago. And today we're in 4 continents of the world. We're in Nigeria, we're in Dubai, Doha, the US. We're currently doing a $200 million expansion in the US. We're in the UK as well. And we keep pushing as a company, right? But it's important to know that my journey didn't start this smooth. It's been full of rocks. It's been full of faith, and I'm a man of faith, by the way. I pastored for 16 years. So it's been a journey of faith. It's been a journey of just taking risk. But one thing I was sure was that even though I was born into a poor family, I wanted to live a wealthy family when I was leaving the earth. And it's very, very important to know it's not your fault that your parents are poor. It's your fault if you remain poor. And the only way to really, really destroy poverty, not just in your lifetime, but for multiple generations after you're gone, is to master the art of passive income. Okay? Is to master it in a very, very deep level. And my advice is it starts with a habit. It just starts with the habit of saying, whatever is coming from my active income, a portion of it must go into what? Into passive income. So I'm going to ask each of you one by one. Do you even have how much you want to make for this year? Anybody? What's your income dream or target for this year? Anybody has one? I always have. Every year I have an amount I want to make for the year. I write myself a check. Okay, I put December 31st. I put the amount I want to make. I sign it, and then I put it where I can see it every morning when I wake up. And I begin to confess that I'm going to make that. What I've noticed is that I don't always end up making as much as I planned, but I always make much, much more than I made the previous year. And the year I don't have such goal, my income goes to dive. So do any one of us have we done that? Nobody. So if we have not done that, can we take time and write down how much do you want to make? I don't want it to even be realistic. Remember, AP, analysis, leads to what? Paralysis. Just dream. How much do you want to make? Because that's the beginning of it. Start with the vision, start with the dream. When the dream is in place, the logic to achieving it will gradually show up. Does that make sense? Okay, so assignment number 1, write down how much you want to make this year. I'm not saying profit, but the total income that you want to touch this year, write it down. The second assignment is have a percentage you want to dedicate to passive income from your active income. So let's say you make $50,000 every month. Okay, how much out of that $50,000 you make every month do you want to put into what? Into your passive income, source of passive income. Now, what are the various sources of passive income? Real estate is a source of passive income. Under real estate, we have different types. Land banking, rental income, right? You buy a house, you put it on Airbnb. Those are part of passive income. What's other example of passive income? Buy a stock. Yes?
I wanted to say stocks and shares.
Stocks and shares. Invest in a very well structured mining company, right? So by owning your mining business, you're still self-employed, by the way, don't forget that. Because if anything goes wrong, whoop, the business can go, right? But I can invest in a REIT. I can, invest in a very structured mining company that's listed in the stock exchange, right? I can also become a venture capital, angel investor, right? An angel investor means you're investing in the idea. Venture capital means the business is started but it's still small, and then you're investing as well for some equity. You can become a private equity where you buy a company, right? Somebody owns a company, you buy totally from them, change the management, and somebody still runs it. You're still not the one running it, and you demand that the management gives you return at the end of the year. Okay, so these are examples of what? Sources of what? Passive income. Another source of passive income is invest in minerals. You can just buy gold and keep it. You can buy diamond and keep it, hoping that the price goes up. You buy Bitcoin and keep it, hoping that the price goes up, right? So these are all different sources of what? Passive income. You can also get a PE and a VC company like the new one I'm setting up, and I'm inviting all of you to be part of that vision, where you come to us and say, hey, I have Dr. Stephen, I have $5 million. I'm looking for a good company to invest in. And then we give you options. And we just only charge 2% to 3% management fees. But you invest, everything's in your name. And when we then make sure, because we're also going to keep mentoring those companies you're investing. When those companies then make money, we still charge about 20 to 30% of the profit, for helping you to follow through to making sure that company does well, right? And you keep the rest to yourself. So you can do that as well, because sometimes just blindly investing in companies without having like a management firm, like a private equity or venture capital firm that you're working with, that understand how to pick companies, how to know the right companies that are going to do well, right? Imagine Amazon, right, when it started. Do you see what I'm saying now? Imagine you invested in that. Imagine you worked with a venture capital firm and they help you to buy 5 million worth of Amazon, right? Imagine one of the stocks I'm going to be investing in right now is the Aliko Dangote refinery, right? They're going to the capital market. I am going to definitely invest in that. That one I'm putting all my money. In fact, if I have to, put in all my savings, I'm doing that. Because, that's a refinery, right? They sell the petrol in dollars, and he's agreed to give returns in dollars. I remember one of my mentors, Dr. Cosmos and friend, shared with me when MTN came to Nigeria, and he was to buy their shares. He first wrote $10 million in the share form. He canceled it and put $5 million. And guess what happened the first 1 year? Return on investment, $750,000. It was like he gambled. Unbelievable. Have you ever seen something like that? You put in $5. Now he's regretting not putting the $10 million. I wish I put in $10 million because I would have gotten a lot more. Right? Because that would have been $1.5 million in the first year alone. first year. Of course, he went on to make much more than the $5 million in just, returns on investment. And the capital is still there. So it's important to have a percentage. So do you have a percentage you want to put in?
Yeah.
Yes. What's the percentage of your active income that from today, you say every month, so percentage of my active income goes into a vehicle for passive income.
So I've retained 30%.
30%. Good. You?
I've done 60%.
Huh? 60. 60.
That's a lot.
How are you going to pay your bills? But that's good. If you can do it, it takes high level discipline, but if you can do it, that's a good one. Honestly, it's a good one if you can do it. Yes?
20%.
20%.
20.
Huh?
20.
20%, 20, yes.
40.
40. Ooh, that's ambitious. Yes.
20%.
20%. Yes.
10.
10%. You're the lowest. What's going on?
Yes.
Wishy.
Because I've already started investing in passive.
It doesn't matter.
So,
Your
so we can put say 20.
your active income is at least for now going to be there. Right?
Let's put it at 20. It's reasonable.
Yeah, 20 is reasonable. 10 is also fine, by the way. Don't be under pressure. It's your money. I'm not going to touch it. Right? So 10 is also okay. But it's the discipline. It's never easy, I can tell you that. But if you can discipline yourself and say a portion goes into this vehicle, then you're ready for wealth. Well, I can go on and on, but my board is full. So I'd rather take your question. Have you gotten some value today? Come on, guys. I need your response.
Yes.
Did you get value?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. I heard Zimbabweans are a bit cold and calm and gentle. Did you get value?
Yes.
I need your energy. Okay? Nigerians have a lot of energy, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to take questions from you guys and then try to say how to answer your questions. So, questions? Yes. Are you sure you're for this meeting? And you're coming an hour late. What's the time?
All right, so the time is 10 o'clock on the dot.
10 o'clock. 1 hour late. Welcome, but you've missed a lot. Yes.
All right. So my question is, you've traveled across Africa. Obviously, the economy is a bit different, but as someone who has traveled and I like your story. You say when you started 18 years ago, you started with $10. So the first question is, currently, right now, if you were to invest in something today, what's the value of that $10, and what would you invest in? Someone who's trying to scale from the first quadrant, which is employment, to have a self-employment business that can be scalable one day into a business. What can you do right now? Let's say maybe with an investment of a humble $2,500.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I'm going to say is that when I started, you're already better than me. Because when I started, I didn't know even what I just taught you tonight, this morning. Right? And I feel that if I know what I taught you this morning, like I do now, I probably would have done much better. Right? So I didn't know. I just became a self-employed. So with the $10, I started what we call a bulk SMS company, where we were helping, let's say, like this conference, and we don't have anti-spam law. So let's say I have a seminar, I could go meet somebody who does bulk SMS and say, send me SMS to 10,000 people in Harare to come for this event. So that was the business I was doing. People come to me and I help them do marketing using bulk SMS. Okay? And that was the business, that I started with. And it was humble. Even the $10, they gave me $7. It was a church. They gave me $7. They had a conference and they wanted me to send a message that they had this crusade. And then I added, because the platform I was using, the minimum you can buy SMS unit from them was $10. So I added $300 and I bought the first. And from there, other clients came. From there, I started doing website. I convinced other people to also do the business and that I was going to do the website for them. So they started buying under me. I was making very little sense, from them, and they too were selling. And so before I knew it, I had built over 5,000 websites. Right? I then diversified into digital marketing, how to help people use social media. That's also why today I have over 2 million followers across all social media platforms. Because in Nigeria, we're one of the pioneers of digital marketing, using the internet to grow businesses, and we're consulting for different companies. And so that helped me to also grow my personal brands as well, and to help my own visibility. But 2015, I then diversified to real estate. And that became, because real estate is capital intensive. So that became what really got a lot of people to then know more about me. And 2020, we also started our international expansion and so on and so forth. So that's my journey. Your journey definitely has to be different, because I'm not even sure the business I started with, whether the opportunity exists right now or not. But if I have $2,500 today and I have a job, my focus will be to look for an investment vehicle first, right? My focus won't be to start a business. The only reason why I would start a business is if I can see a business I can start that won't take me away from my job. There are certain businesses that is even complementary. For example, starting a brokerage firm, growing to a point where I start a brokerage firm. So instead of just me alone selling for my company, I want to employ maybe 50 people and we all sell, and I get more costs. So now I have 50 people selling the same thing one person used to sell, and I scale. Do you see? Or any other business where it doesn't take so much of your time, so that, because I also don't believe in cheating your employer and using your employer's time to be doing your side hustle. I don't think it's fair. It's just my own opinion. Some people do it, but I don't think it's right. Right? You see some people betting with their boss time. All manner of things that people do, I don't recommend. But if there's a business you can start without 2,500, that doesn't take your time, maybe something you can do weekends, maybe something, an e-commerce business that you just run ads and you've automated the whole process, why not? But if there's none, then keep putting this into a vehicle of investment so that it keeps appreciating and keep appreciating. After you've grown into maybe $100,000, at that point you can say, I want to fire my boss, then maybe I want to start my own business, right? Because what that then does is that you have some savings on the ground, and you still have liquidity to grow the business till it eventually gets here. Make sense?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm grateful for this opportunity to talk. So I have this question. A year ago, I listened to this podcast of one of the HBS professors. Yeah, actually taught something along the lines that the wealthy guys, if they give, they tend to get bigger 1.5x more from what they actually gave to charity. So my question to you now is about for a guy who wants to go into business from a humble beginning. What's your percentage? You see, it's proper, it's appropriate for you to actually move high. If you don't my question, but it's pertaining to giving and the case study I saw from the Harvard Business School.
Well, it's important to always know that as beautiful as it is to always listen to Harvard, Yale, Stanford, you must domesticate whatever you're learning from them. In America, any giving you do, any donation you do is tax deductible. But most African countries don't run like that. Right? So what it means is that in America, instead of giving the money to government, I can give the money to charity. You see now? And the government will waive my taxes for me. And what a lot of rich people then do, they set up a foundation, and then they say the foundation bought a jet so that it can take its leaders for charity works across Africa and all of that. And it's been written off. They can buy cars and say it was the foundation that bought the cars. So many of these foundations you hear about, even UN and all of these agencies, are you aware that over 70% of what is donated goes into operations? You know, and it's allowed. Right? So a lot of the money, rich people are able to just use it to take care of their lifestyle. Do you see now? Yet now pay zero taxes because they've said, oh, we donated all the money to the charity, and then from the charity they now use the charity money to do all the things. But that doesn't always work in Africa. So you need to look at the African routes to things. You know, every country has their own different concepts, and you have to look for how do you domesticate, you know, what works in the Western world in Africa. And that's always my advice. We Africans have to find our own solutions, our own strategies that is unique to Africa, that works for Africa, that is in line with our own African challenges. I hope that makes sense. Beautiful. Next question. Any more questions?
You talked about not cheating your employer.
Yes.
I worked for a company that is, you work like a heartbeat.
Yes.
You are there 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to venture into self-employment.
Yes.
While I was there at work,
Yeah.
it wasn't feasible.
Yeah.
Until I had to just turn my back on the,
You resigned?
yes, I did. To make sure that I start something.
Yes.
But sometimes it's not feasible
To combine the two.
Yeah.
So what's your question?
My question is, how do you then give it a balance where, like a company is like that?
There's no balance. You know, just resign. You did the right thing. I mean, the only thing is, are you well prepared as at the time you resign? Did you have? I tell people, if you're going to resign to start your own company, have 1 year salary in your savings. Like whatever you were collecting as salary, have at least 1 year of it saved somewhere, so that, because business takes a while before, when you start a new business, it will take a while to become. And if your lifestyle so go too low, you will be forced to go back and look for a job. Right? So don't rush to quit a job when you want to go into entrepreneurship. Keep saving and have enough savings, both to support the new business and to support your personal lifestyle. Right? But there's nothing wrong having to resign. You see, when you resign and you start your business, you will not have empathy for your former employer. Because what we all don't realize is that, you know, when you're here, you think the people here and here are bad people. But when you come here yourself and here, then you realize, because now you're in their shoes, and you then begin to say, oh, now I see. In fact, in many cases, what I've seen is how people have regretted, okay, what they've had to do, right? Because they then realize that, wow, in fact, I've had people went to go and beg their former employer and just say, I'm sorry, I didn't know this was what you were going through. Because we just come and we just wanted our salaries no matter what. We didn't even know how you were getting the money. We didn't know the sleepless nights. We didn't know the headache. We didn't know how days where customer disappointed you, yet there are so many bills to pay. I've had to ask my children to stay at home because I wanted to pay salary. Right? I mean, imagine going through all of that, and yet the employee looks at you and says you're a wicked boss. I mean, you feel like crying because only you know what you have to do to keep that company going, right? And so it's when, for us who are entrepreneurs, we're always excited. We quit the job, come join us, and you will respect us better, right? Because by the time you're in our shoes, you know what we're going through. Yes.
Okay, I've got two questions. The first one is on deal clinching.
On,
Deal clinching, like, or conclusion of a deal.
okay.
We've attended so many workshops, so many networking workshops and interactions, but at the end of the day, how do you manage to get a deal out of all these meetings and all these interactions?
All this,
Yeah, like interactions and meetings. At the end of the day, how do you clinch a deal? Then my second question is, from your series of businesses, are there any opportunities of collaboration, partnership, investment between your companies and us, with growing companies?
okay. So first, so I believe you're talking about when you come for meetings like this, how do you leverage it? Number one rule, don't rush to go home. After a meeting like this, get everybody's number. When you get home, message them and say, it was nice meeting you at the meet and greet with Dr. Steven. You know, invite each other for coffee, lunch, you know, build the relationship better. What I realize is this, the wealthy, okay, so, and this is this is my latest book. There are 3 ways to work. Hard work, true of us. Smart work, right? And then net work. Did you notice work in each of them? So hard work can only guarantee you survival. That's all it will give, right? I work hard at my job. Yeah, you will survive. Right? Maybe you'll pay a few bills. Smart work, okay, will make you rich. Network will make you wealthy. Richness and wealth are 2 different things. Being rich just means you have a little more than enough. Being wealthy means you have something transgenerational. Right? Now, what gets you to wealth is what? Is what? Network. So the rich always invest hard in networking. Hard. Like, it's the major job. And they are master at it without looking forceful. Right? The poor, on the other hand, is very forceful. Come and buy from me now. Give me money now. Do business with me today. Right? If you don't do it now, something is going to happen. I will die. But if you are Nigeria, you put your own. Right? So, but the rich does it differently. My daughter is doing her wedding, and it's going to be in so island, right? And then boom, you all come, right? Oh, Dr. Steven, we're doing some great stuff in Zimbabwe, right? Please check your schedule. I'd like you to come. By the way, I'm here at the invitation of Kensha, right? I'd like you to come. And then, oh, yeah, we're going to do some deals here. Then we go, then we come. Now, at the end of that, do you think there's a deal Kensha will ask me to do, and it's within my power to do that I will not do? You see how the rich play the game, right? But the poor is like, no. Even to pay for a lunch, like, how much? Expensive restaurant? And I'll spend $1,000? No. Do you see? And that's why I said networking is also work. Because it takes your time, it takes your resources, okay? But if you do it well, it brings much returns than hard work. Much returns than even what? Smart work. Because right now I'm already telling Ken, I said, you're launching your golf course. Let's get a private jet. I'm going to get some of Nigeria's billionaires to come. Right? So, yeah, if you want to clap well. Right? Okay? You know, and then we're thinking of doing a road show with the Minister of Finance to come to Nigeria, meet some of our rich guys, and then also bring some of them to come here as well. But because somebody decided to what? To network. Do you see the point? But the rule is that it's long term. Networking is long term. Most time we want it now, want it quick, right? You just met each other now and say, well, I said house, come and buy today. I will give you the form. You don't pay now. You know, don't be a hustler. Take it easy. Be strategic. In fact, when you are well strategic, it's the other party that is going to be begging you. Like, no, I want the deal. Because right now I'm seeing some of the properties that we sell for $1 million in Nigeria, right? Ken is selling them for $350,000. Like, this is too good to be true. Why not invest in Zimbabwe? Right? But that's how you do it. Okay? But imagine he's just sending me, Stephen, come invest in Zimbabwe. No. Say, hey, come have some. And I've been so stressed. I just did my birthday was I mean, again, I have some level of fame in Nigeria, so he was everywhere, right? I need to rest, and now I'm not even resting because Ken is dragging me everywhere in meetings here and there. But I wanted to, okay, let me just come. Hopefully I will have some vacation in Zimbabwe. But I'm really impressed with what he's doing. But that's how you do it. So today, get everybody's number, right? Look, and while and get to know them. If you notice when we started this meeting, I asked everybody to introduce themselves. And then somebody just mentioned their name. I said, no, I don't just want your name. What do you do? You know, because what happened then is my mind is beginning to think of areas of what? Potential collaboration. Right? So don't just meet people and just say, my name is Smith. Like, no, tell us your story. Tell us your background. Tell us some of the good things you've done. Tell us some of the challenges you've encountered. Some of the crises you've overcome. I want to know you. Right, so I was having dinner with Ken and his family yesterday, and he was saying and this is another thing about rich people. Rich people genuinely care about their fellow wealthy people. No, they don't care about the poor. To be honest, I always say this: rich people want to help poor people, and you should never forget that. Your job, if you become rich, is to help poor people, and that's it's a duty. That's even why God will give you money. But your job is not to come to the same level with a poor person until they rise to your level, mentor. And when I say poor, it's about the mind. It's not about cash. It's about the mind. Because if you come to the same level with a poor person, they will drag you to their level. Right? The little wealth you have, you will lose everything. So help as much as you can. Right? But rich people genuinely care about their, I don't know, you will see genuine care. So, I mean, he was saying, what's your opinion about the tour? And I was telling him, I said, what excites me the most is the people. You know, the people working for you are good people. And they're passionate about the work, and they're just amazing people. And trust me, you can only build empire with good people. Your empire can't go farther than the quality of people that you have. And guess the impression I have about Zimbabwe. I want to bring as many Zimbabweans to my company in Nigeria to work for. People are good people. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
You know, and I was telling him, yeah.
You wanted collaboration.
You know, and I was telling him, I said, an average Nigerian works for you to become your competitor. We are aggressive. Nigerians are aggressive. Yes. So it's in your job just to learn about your business, and then the next time is resign and it's in the same business as you, and you go and meet your client and say, my former boss charges you much. Guess what? I can charge you much lesser. I can take your yes. You know, so I told Ken, I said, no. I need to bring some Zimbabweans into my business. And I was told that Dangote said that two countries he picks, he loves to work for him, Indians and Zimbabweans. Right. So I thought you would come for yourself. Right. So it's important to know that be genuinely interested when you're networking. Genuinely interested. Genuinely see, even if you can't patronize the person, can I recommend somebody? Can I, you know, it's the secret of rich people. That's how they do it. So before they demand anything from you, they help you first. They want to do something. They want to, you know, and when you go that way, the other party feels like, I'm owing you, right? And wealthy people don't like to owe. They don't like it. It's a code. It's an unwritten code. So if you're smart, always make sure wealthy people are in your debt, like they owe you, right? But guess what most people do? He's rich. Give me money. Invest in my business. Now, and unknowing to you, he will probably even invest much more. But don't start with that. Does that make sense? Start with genuinely wanting to know them, genuinely. By the way, you should read my book. Just order it from Amazon, Billionaire Habits. I talked a lot about this. Just genuinely want to, know them, build good relationship, collaborate. Myself and Ken Sharp met 4 years ago at an event in Dubai, just like this. And we kept in touch. That's what I'm saying. Right? So that's how you ultimately close deals. Build a relationship, exchange numbers, be in touch, greet them, and gradually something will happen that lead to something, and you begin to connect there. Collaborations, I'm open to it. Very much open to it. Just make sure that you've done your research, because sometimes also when people want to do collaboration, they've not done their research. So I'll give you an example. Somebody said to me, Stephen, I want you to invest in my business. I said, oh, why not? So how much do you need? I need $100,000. Okay, so how much equity will you give me? Doesn't say I'll give you 2% equity. So what's the valuation of your business? $200,000. You see that? So do your research. Be sure that when you are seeking collaboration, you've done your research. You've even gone beyond equity analysis. You've even done analysis of how what you're proposing complement their other businesses. You say, oh, you're doing this real estate project. If you have equity in this business, you see it complements this. You see how you think deeper than just. But I'm in a phase where I'm open to investing in businesses. I'm open to collaboration. That's what I'm open to mentor business owners and help them grow their business. Warning: I don't mentor for free. If you want free mentorship, go to my YouTube. I have over 3,000 videos on YouTube, right? For free, okay? But if you want to do one-on-one mentorship, I charge for that. And the good news about all those I've mentored is they've gone to grow their businesses. Some of them are even invested much more than what. You see, why do we charge? There are two ways to get a mentor. You serve the mentor. You serve, or you what? Or you pay. Those are the two options. You serve, or you what? You pay. Now, why do we charge? We use it to sieve, right? To be honest, it's not everybody that needs to be in your life. Okay, this meeting, you can see how intimate it is. It's intentionally so. Okay, it's intentionally so. If I want to give back, yes, but I don't want to be too stressed. 10 people, you know, I'm streaming it. Anybody else who want to watch it, they go watch it online, right? So, I mean, the phase of my life, I want it small, compact, you know. I'm not for everybody with due respect, you know, okay? But I'm willing to help as many people as I can, but not to the detriment of my own comfort as well. Does that make sense? So receive. When you have 2 million plus followers, you have to receive. It's not everybody, else you're gonna die before your time. And you have to manage your energy. You have to manage your energy is not unlimited. It's limited. And it's the best way you manage your energy determines ultimately how far you go. It makes sense? Okay? But you are my extension. I pour into you, you pour into the rest of Zimbabwe, right? So that's for me how I like it. But I charge, that way I reduce how many people, and that way the impact is good, the effect is good. One of my mentees, when I met him, his business was doing about, if I put it in dollars, his business was doing about $20,000 every month. Okay, 3 years ago. Now he does over $1 million every month from 20,000. Yeah, right. He had employees. His employees were about 20. Today's employees are over 450 employees in 3 years of mentoring. Right. So mentorship can be very intense. It's not easy as well, right? Because you really are vested in that business. You really want that business to grow. You hold it like it's your baby as well, like it's your business as well. Make sense?
Yeah.
Any more questions? Let's take one more. Okay, we'll take yours.
Sure.
Then we allow you latecomers to introduce yourself. We shouldn't have, but we'll allow you to introduce yourself.
Should I introduce myself now?
Yes, introduce yourself, your name, what you do, and then you can ask your question.
Sure. My name is Dr. Rutendo Mzamiri, and I'm the CEO of Sharp Business Academy. Mr. Sharp has been raving about you all week, so I'm really excited that I got to be
And
here.
I've heard a lot about you, that you're transforming this whole ecosystem of entrepreneurs. Good work.
Thank you so much. So you were talking about collaboration, mentorship, networking, and this is the language that we're always preaching at Sharp Business Academy, and would really love an opportunity to even engage you further. We love that you've already put a disclaimer that I charge. So, so we would really love to have even further conversations with you on how we can actually help our entrepreneurs here in Zimbabwe. These are amazing, hardworking young people, but we also have executives and a lot of government officials that are enrolling in our executive programs. So listening to you is making me realize why I needed to be here and why we need to continue engaging with you on your wisdom and your experience. And
But you didn't hear much of what I thought.
I was online.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
I was driving and I was online. So I'm really, really excited that you got to share part of what has made you successful. And when you look at how we've been doing business, let's say the younger people in Zimbabwe, what do you think we could do better in terms of actually being not aggressive, but being
Oh, you need to be aggressive.
well, okay,
Nothing wrong.
aggressive
Nothing
without-
wrong with being aggressive.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay.
In entrepreneurship,
Uh-huh.
you have to be aggressive.
Okay.
You have to. There's nothing wrong with it. What we're saying you shouldn't be aggressive about is, don't sell like a hustler.
Mm.
Like, if you don't buy today, I'm gonna die, please patronize me. That's what we're saying.
Right.
But in terms of driving your business, you really have to. I mean, Ken Sharp is hard.
Yes. So what's your take on stewardship entrepreneurship? Because I've been leaning more towards that. I believe I'm an entrepreneur, but I don't believe that I have to start my own business to be a business person. So I've been pushing this so passionately. You mentioned that Mr. Sharp has amazing people that work for him, and for me, what drives me is stewardship entrepreneurship. I don't need to be the founder of SBA, but I need to run SBA like it's my business, like it's my baby.
You see why I want more Zimbabweans to work for me? Well, you're right. It's called, another word for it is entrepreneurship. And basically, it's a concept we need to push more in Africa. Because we have been lied to that the only way you can be an entrepreneur is that you are the owner of the business, and that's not true. At some point, people have to hand over the business to somebody else. So I, for example, just handed over one of our companies everything. I'm not even the chairman, I'm not the group CEO anymore, I'm starting something new. So I'm expecting the people running it to take it to the next level. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good thing to do. Every great idea starts with one man, but it takes other people to take it to the next level. Are you aware that the gospel of Jesus Christ did not grow beyond, in terms of disciples, 12 of them, and then another 120, and then the highest record of people that Jesus taught, highest record, 5,000. Right? They say, okay, they didn't count women and children. Let's exaggerate it to 100,000, which I doubt, because there wasn't megaphone, there wasn't loudspeakers, so how could they have heard? Right? So there was a limit to the number he could talk to at a time. But let's even give it 100,000. In his entire existence, our Lord Jesus Christ. But Paul the Apostle alone, before he died, how many did Paul expand that gospel to? Today, Christians all over the world are over 3 billion. You see what I'm saying now? And so, for every vision, it starts with one person, but it takes other people to take the baton, and record has shown that those people even end up doing better than the founder. Look at Apple. Tim Cook didn't found Apple, but he's taking it better, right? Look at even Amazon. Jeff Bezos has handed over, but Amazon started becoming profitable after Jeff Bezos handed over. So data has shown that founders of businesses are not necessarily good at continuing the business. Some of us are good at starting it, hand it over to some people to run with it, and we move on to something else. So it's a good thing. And if you run it well, at some point you potentially can buy shares and buy equity in the business. That is what we need to push more in Africa, because not every one of us can take risk like most founders. Not every one of us. These days, sometimes we just can't do it, right? I've had few investors invest with us, and there's been delay in returns because business is having some downtime. They would call you all manner of names, and then sometimes like, do you know how much I've lost? Gone, never to come back. You is just even give the company some time, right? And you will still get your money. But you don't know, you guys must be scammers, you must be this. So what do you think we founders are going through? Right? So some people are just not even wired for something like that. They're just not wired for it. So it might be good to just be loyal in another person's business, put in your best. But if you feel you can start your own, please, by all means, give it a shot. Give it a shot. You have the chance to do it. But my advice to young entrepreneurs in Zimbabwe: go harder, be more daring, be more ambitious. Right? This nation has everything she needs. Young population. What's the population of Zimbabwe? About, let's just say 16, right? 16 million. Can you believe that? Nigeria is 250 million. And the size is probably almost the size of Nigeria. Do you see that? So you have so much opportunity. And then you have. So what does this mean? We Nigerians, almost the same land size, 250 million and increasing, are competing with all the small golds, small oils, small this. You, smaller population, you have all of this. So I think you should be more aggressive. So when you say, not to be aggressive, please, by all means, be more aggressive, dream bigger, right? If you fail, I promise you, you'll be better than those who didn't dream, right? I have a quote that says, dream so big that failure is success. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Dream so big that what you consider failure in that big dream will still be a huge success. That's how to dream. Right? So that would be my advice to Zimbabwe entrepreneurs. Dream big. I mean, there's so much to conquer. There's so much. Right? I was listening to your minister talking about your debt, $2.5 billion. I was smiling. One Nigerian will write off that check, one individual.
Yeah.
Write it off and say, okay. In fact, we had to ask him, can't one person write it off, say, well, government debt, if one person, individuals give the loan will be higher, the interest rate will be higher. But one Nigerian will gladly give you that money. The Aliko will write that off and not even know he spent money. Huh? Okay? So, but do you know that's also because we haven't raised more, successful entrepreneurs in Zimbabwe? Because the more entrepreneurs you have in the country, the higher the GDP, right? The more the country makes in taxes, the less the debt, the stronger the currency. So there's so much. But yes, I'll be willing to speak anything for Ken Sharp. I mean, okay, I've decided to call him my twin brother. We think alike. I said to him, if assuming we've been very close for a long time, I would say he's stealing my ideas, right? Because our visions are similar. He's trying to build 22,000 homes. I'm trying to build 25,000 homes. He has different land locations, and he's running multiple projects at the same time. I too have 30 different locations just in Nigeria alone, trying to run multiple projects. And everybody thinks I'm crazy, like, who dreams this big, like, come down to this earth, be human for a while. So yeah.
Thank you.
So I'll be glad to speak to you.
Sure.
And don't bother about the money. Once it's Ken Sharp, don't worry.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Okay, let's have you introduce yourself. We'll start with you, and then you. I think those are the two people.
All right, thank you so much, Doc. So I don't even know where to start.
Your name, what you do, and all that.
Okay, so my name is Ambassador Dr. Tatenda Matirongo. I am an ambassador of African Union Youth Council to Zimbabwe, and I am the country director of International Forum for Peace and Diplomacy for Zimbabwe and SADC as well. So my boss, the Director General of IFPD, Ambassador Timothy Adiranan, He's from Nigeria. So he told me yesterday that you're in Zimbabwe. And then he said, you better go and meet that man. You better go. And I'm like, I'm so busy in the morning. And then you don't know. So he sent me your link. And I'm like, okay, I think I'll have to make an effort to go. So in the morning, I was like, Your Excellency, please allow me to leave now. I'm going. She goes, oh yeah, now. Please go. So yeah, that's how I came to come here. And I am the managing director of Center for Diabetes Management Hospital. It's a specialist diabetes hospital in Zimbabwe, and I'm an entrepreneur as well. I run this company called Tate's Confectionery. I actually make cakes for Kensha, yeah, for Tanya and the team and his wife, and I'm also an author. I have written 20 books, and
Wow, that's impressive.
when you were talking about your 40 books, I was, oh Lord. I thought I was done writing books, and here is someone who has written 40 and I have half of it. Which means I have a lifetime to go.
Actually 50 now.
50.
Yes. Yeah. And they're all on Amazon.
Wow.
50. But I added 2 more, it was 48. I added 2 more on my birthday. So, yeah.
And you see, I have 30 to go if I'm going to be a mentee.
Ah.
I have more than
You've
30
done
to
it.
write. So I think this meeting has taught me not to give up, because I said, 20 books, I think I can now rest. I think I've done so much for myself. But now you have given me so much push. I think that was an aggressive push for me to say that 20 books is nothing. I mean, you have to push more. And I'm still going. Okay, I think the bestseller for my books is the one called The Waiting Wife, where I talk about embracing the waiting period, your waiting season of waiting for the God-ordained husband or kingdom spouse. It's actually, it's a Christian book. Yeah, it's one of my bestsellers. And then the other bestseller is the one called Rotai the Dreamer. It's about a young boy who dreamt so big to become the world's most agriculturalist. So that's the second one. So please allow me to give you some of my books. Or I can give you 20 of them, and then I don't know if you can read them at once, or I can just give you a few that you're going to select that you see can resonate with your field. Yes. And I think I can end there for now.
Okay, nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too, sir.
Yes.
My name is Ivan Scalable.
You need to speak a bit louder.
My name is Ivan Scalable. I work for a real estate company, which is actually a real estate company.
Oh, this is your boss. And that's all. No more introduction. Okay. You're welcome. Any more question or contribution as we come to an end? I like to start my class early, and I love to end early. I don't do what we call African time, as you must have noticed. Yes.
You said one of the ways to get a ticket to be a mentee is to sell the
To serve.
to
Not
serve,
serve.
to serve the mentor.
Yes.
I wanted to know how.
How? Basically, so again, I'm generalizing this, so it's not necessarily about me. Some of my mentors, I paid them. Some I served, right, to get into their lives. But I can only share some of the strategies I used. First of all, I look at my area of strength and their own area that hasn't been developed, or maybe they've been paying somebody, the person hasn't done it well. One of them is one of the wealthiest Nigerian, whom by the time I met him, he wasn't on social media. He's an old money guy, and they don't know how to do social media, but he does a lot of speaking, and he has a lot to teach the younger generation. And because I had strength in digital marketing, I started working on his social media brand, and today I manage all his digital assets, and he's now 100 times famous now, right? He used to go through the airport, nobody really knows him except there are another old money, you know. But now the younger generation are following him in their millions, and he's so grateful that I did that for him without even charging for it. But that has then brought us to be quite close, you know. And now also, if most people just reach out, they want access to him, they go through me. He sometimes even tell people I'm his manager and all of that. So, but you just want to look at each individual is different, and so you want to look at their lives and say, how can I help, you know, and then offer that as a service. But it has to be something you're competent at, it has to be something you're skillful at, it has to also be something that you're willing to be loyal, because the service part is more dangerous than the paying part. The paying part, you pay, you know, you get your sessions, the person mentors you. The serving part means you will get to know a lot about them, their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities, their threats. And if you're not mature, you know, you begin to think, oh, I thought he was a saint. You know, I thought he was perfect. I thought she was this, right? And you need to know that nobody's perfect except God. No mortal man is perfect except God. And in fact, some of what we claim to be imperfection sometimes is their area of strength, right? It just look as if they are not perfect to you in your own eye, but sometimes even what makes them strong, what makes them tick, right? Those things you're saying. But you have to be mature to serve anybody. You have to be very, very mature, because if you're not mature, you just begin to see. Somebody says that if you are privileged to lift up the hand of your mentor, don't smell their armpit. Right? Let me say that again. If you are privileged to lift the hand of your mentor, don't what? Don't smell their armpit. Right? Because you will be tempted to do so. Because you remember, you're the one lifting their hands up. So you get to hear stories, you get to hear stuff, you get to, even their enemies will come to you and tell you, why are you dealing with this guy? Right? Why are you dealing with this woman? You know, this is what we heard about them. And you know, every great man or woman, okay, has something in common. Who can guess what they have in common? People gossip about them. Right? Every great man or woman, what they have in common is that what? People gossip about them. And you probably will hear more bad things about them than you hear good. It's only when you get closer, you now begin to wonder, like, but they said this person was a monster. You know, why am I not seeing what they said, right? They said this person was this. They said, oh, don't work for him, he's this, or don't work for her, she's that, right? So if you're not mature, you get into those relationships with a bias, you know, mindset. And when their enemies also know you have access to them, they want to pollute you just to get to them. So people are careful, and that's why don't be angry if you meet someone who you want to mentor you and say, I want you to serve, and they say no. Don't be angry. I mean, you need to prove that you are trustworthy, right? Do you know how many of that my mentor, if I was, and that's also why they also don't want people who are poor to serve them in some capacity, because it can be dangerous to them. So imagine I'm a poor person and I'm handling the asset of a multi-billionaire in dollars, and somebody say, oh Stephen, I'm going to give you $100,000, right? Release this on his social media platform. You know, I can destroy that same man by handling his page. Right? So the only reason he was comfortable with me managing his brand is because I myself am very, very wealthy. So he knows that nobody can just come and bribe me to get at him. Does that make some sense?
So don't be angry when you see, oh, but Dr. Steven says I can serve a mentor or pay a mentor. But I went to this mentor, I said I was willing to serve, and he said no. Yes, he will say no, because he doesn't know you. He's not sure he can trust you, right? So it's okay that sometimes the relationship will need to be built, the trust will need to be built. It takes a while. I've met some of you now. Yes, we've spoken, but don't assume I already trust you, and then now suddenly, oh, let's do things like, hey, we're just meeting, right? So sometimes you want to watch people, right? Am I making sense at all? When I met Ken Sharp 4 years ago, he invited me to Zimbabwe. So why am I coming 4 years after? Right? I mean, you take time. It takes a while to study each other. It's okay. I think this person is consistent. I think this person. I think I've seen a few things, and I think this person is also at my level. Okay, mentally, you know, and so many other things. I think maybe I can trust this person with my brand. Okay, for example, one of you could say, Dr. Steven, I want to be your representative in Zimbabwe. Now, it seems you like Zimbabwe, it seems you want to do something in Zimbabwe. The answer is yes, I need a representative in Zimbabwe. But it just can't be just anybody. I learned something many years ago, that never partner with people who don't have something to lose if things go bad. So I once partnered with somebody in Dubai, and he messed me up big time. And this is somebody that had brought in over $10 million worth of deal for, and he just messed me up. And when my lawyer was talking to his lawyer after he created a mess for me, you know what his lawyer said to my lawyer? His lawyer said to my lawyer, said, it's your client that has something to lose. Nobody knows my own client. So, yeah, he literally held me at ransom. So I learned from that experience that don't do business with people who don't have something to lose. Do business with people who also have their own reputation to protect. Does that make sense? Don't do business where it's only you that have a reputation to protect. Right? Does that make sense? Good. So, and it's not discrimination, because sometimes people say, oh, all these rich people, they discriminate, they look down on poor people. That's not the game. The game is just, I need to protect me. I have more to lose. So I only want to deal with somebody that I'm sure also have something to protect. I want to deal with somebody that will not mess things up. Does that make some sense? I want to deal with somebody that has some dignity. Right? I want to deal with somebody that if something goes bad, all of us can go our separate way. No drama. Nobody's, creating a mess for the other party. Okay, we do not agree. We wish everybody well. God bless you. We move on. How about that for a deal? Okay? Must we create drama? Okay? So, that's what I'm, even to choose customers now, even if you tell me, oh, Dr. Steven, I want to do business with you, I'm saying, well, do you have $10 million? They'd be like, why must I start with $10 million? Yeah, because there are some customers that want to use it to brag. Oh, I did business with Stephen Akintayo. Right? Only for you to say how much transaction. Right? It's less than $1 million. But he wants to brag. There's a reason why if you're going to buy cement from Dangote, even cement, you must be a dealer that is doing at least $1 million and above. Yes, like you want to be a Dangote distributor. You must be doing at least in a year $20 million worth of, purchases with his company. It's because If you're too small, you will want to blackmail him and say, oh, Dangote, I bought $500,000 cement. He didn't deliver it on time. The guy is a mess. But if you're big to a level, there's certain conversation you don't, you even when you want to fight for your right, you do it secretly. You'll be like, don't tell anybody, but please help me get my money back from him. Who understand what I'm talking about? But when you're too low in the food chain, you just even want to brag. So that you're Steven, I invested with him. I need my money back. I'm not doing any more. So at a level, you begin to get careful. Even who you pick as a customer. Not that you hate people, not that you are stereotyping people, not that you're stigmatizing people, but you're also protecting yourself and your brand and your reputation as well. It makes sense?
Yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay? So I hope I answered your question. Once again, thank you all for coming. I'm really excited to be here, and it's good to be in Zimbabwe. And I can tell you guys are good people, and I really, really look forward to. I look forward to really working with more Zimbabweans and have a few of you work in our company, and see how we can partner. I'm open to a lot of partnership and collaboration. I'm just saying, don't take it personal if there's a lot of checks and a lot of double checking. don't think like what's wrong with him. I'm the big person in my own right. Yes, I get it, but just allow the due process to take place, right? Okay, but I'm excited to work with you guys. Thank you. So we're gonna take pictures, and then we're done for the day. Okay? If there's nothing else, there's one more thing.
Maybe on behalf of the group.
Okay.
Let me also take this opportunity to express our appreciation. Some of us, we don't even know how we ended up being here. This is a very great opportunity, and we've learned a lot, and we look forward to more collaborations. So we really appreciate your time. Just listening to how you are here, maybe there was really no need for you to meet us, but you find it upon yourself to create this moment to meet with us. So we are really grateful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, we have some of you who joined online. Hope you got some value. We had more people online than here, and that's how I love to do it. Just a few people in the room, and then we can have more people watch online. But I hope you got value. We love you. Bye-bye.